It's episode 8.
Whoa, I wasn't expecting that intro.
Look, we weren't expecting this episode. Episode 8 of WandaVision. We're here. It's an ETTO spoiler cast. So full spoilers ahead. Again, there's a mid-credit scene. So just have watched that because that's the full spoilers. We will talk about that thing.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. I'm almost tempted to go there first because it's changed the game. I don't know. I don't know where this show is going. I have no idea. Like,
one episode left. There's so much to answer.
I can't tell if I'm happy or like where I am in the headspace of this show, and also look how angry I am that my room is shaking. I'm scared. I'm worried for the show. Like, the last 2 episodes I wasn't a fan of. This one is definitely a step back into being interesting and like actually doing something with.
This seemed the most like cinematic, like the most movie episode. Yeah, I mean, like I could totally just see this being in a Marvel movie.
It helps when like 5 of the scenes are from a Marvel movie.
Yeah. True. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, but no, yeah, totally. I'm having fun with this because it's like this was the clip episode. Like this is another genre of a TV show. Less so like eras. This is a
true.
Genre. Yeah,
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, so this is the clip episode where you go through different parts of the season, or as this one is called, the previously on. Which I then assume to finish that out next week will be the TV movie episode, which is why it will be longer. Like that will like it. I almost assume, and I wish I'd called this one because I knew this was going to be called previously on because I knew this was going to be the recap ep. I almost assume next week will be called WandaVision, the TV movie. Like that will be the title of the episode.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think that would be long, and I think also next week, we're going to be full blown cinematic Marvelism. I think like it'll be a lot faster because as much as I've loved the show, it's very slow. Like. They take so long to do so many things, and
because it's a sitcom, like it's
totally
doing sitcom beats. So it's just like most of the time there's a problem that gets resolved within 20 minutes.
Yeah, so they need it,
and then there's a bit of like there's a twist from the outside that just kind of goes boop.
Yeah,
right at the end. That's pretty much all it is. So yeah, it's so slow because the things you're waiting for are the little boops at the end.
Totally. Yeah.
It's just your boops. We're waiting for boops.
We're waiting for the boops. The boops for next week. But this one I've opened with it was like 1693 or something. Agatha in the Salem witch trials, which I might have to watch it again. But for me, I was like, this felt like 2010 Doctor Who or something. Like it felt really shit.
It was a bit weird. Yeah, like it's she's being trialed by other witches, so it's not like a Salem witch trial where they're like, are you a witch kind of thing. But she'd clearly done something wrong and they were like, you know, attacking her for it, whatever. And then she went and killed them,
sucked them.
Fairly graphic, but also fairly like fake kind of corpses when she killed them all. It's very strange.
It was weird. I liked it as a practical visual effect. I thought it was a nice impact of like you're seeing it happen, then it just hard cuts to a corpse on the ground. Like that was it was pretty good. I think that was possibly the best thing in it because like her just sucking all the energy and stuff. Like it's as it always. It's hard to make that look good, and I don't think they really did because it was just all of them going It's like
it was a bit
Like we've seen that kind of thing so many times in Marvel as well. Like the best version will always be Guardians when they're all just getting ripped apart and stuff. Like there's been more visually interesting things.
That's what it was missing. It's missing like because you could see them kind of like deteriorating or whatever, but it was just missing more power of it.
Totally. Yeah.
It's literally just beams, them screaming, and their skin just being a little bit tighter because they're literally being drained of their life force. It's almost like Rogue-esque.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of seemed to lose a lot of impact, I guess. because there wasn't more physical damage.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It was just, I don't know.
And also just the scene itself, like, it's a great scene to show how powerful Agatha is, of course, but it's almost the question that no one was asking. Like, I didn't need this. Like, this didn't give me anything extra on Agatha. Like, I knew she was a witch from what you showed me last week, and what you showed me in this episode. I gathered she was probably old. Like, it just was a weird one to open with, because I was like, okay, cool. Like, I assume maybe this will come interesting later on, but it's like, I didn't need this. You just wasted 10 minutes of the episode.
Yeah, like, I guess it's showing, like, it does seem pointless. They kind of didn't need to, but I guess they were trying to just really hammer home, like, she's a witch. She's not just like Scarlet Witch has random powers for some reason witch. She's like legit witch.
They're trained in the dark arts.
Yeah. So I guess they were really trying to double down, and that's why she later is like going, oh, like, you didn't use this hex, like, there's this hex, I've got this hex. She's like going like, what books did you read to learn this stuff? Totally, whereas Wanda's like, I don't know, I just did the things, like, because we never learnt about really how Wanda got her powers, how she has been able to learn any of her powers.
Totally.
And clearly that's also confusing to an actual witch who is like, you have the powers, but you never learn how to use them. Like, how are you doing anything? I think they're just really trying to double down on, like,
she's a witch.
The separation of the witch types.
Totally.
And why she's like, how did you do it?
I guess I was just waiting for the moment where, because it is so, like, over the top and corny, I was waiting for the moment where Agatha's like, and then it, like, swish pans and she's there as herself with Wanda, and she's like, didn't quite happen like this, and, like, it would break, and it's like, oh, it's over the top because she's retelling it to Wanda as a funny anecdote. Like, that's what I was waiting for the whole time. Yeah. And then when it was like, oh, no, this really happened, I was like, did it? Like, this just felt a bit silly. But,
a little bit. Yeah, and all of the, like, some of the shots were so long. Like, it was just her going, for like 15 seconds or something. It's just like, just cut that in half. Like, it's fine. We get it.
100%.
But some of them were just so much longer than they needed to be.
Yeah. Look, speaking of, we've talked about this scene for too long. I'm sorry.
Way too long.
But it's interesting. This episode basically does away with, and I mean, they didn't really set it up because it was in a mid-credit scene, but it does away with Monica and Pietro, or Fietro, fake Pietro, and, like, Vision and Darcy. Like, they're just not in this episode, at least in their chronological form, which was interesting. I thought, again, I think they spent too much time getting to let's go through your trauma. Like, Agatha was just going on and on of like, why have you done this? Why? It's like, that's the question we're asking. Do the thing, get to the point. Because I feel like her throwing her side to side, that should have happened within a minute of this episode. So it could get to the crux. Yeah.
But instead she had to be like, you can't use your powers here because I've put up that thing and that thing and that thing. And it's only because I put them up that you can't use. It's like, all right, we get it. She can't use her powers here. Like, it's fine.
And then, like, 2 minutes later, we're not there anymore and she can use her powers. So, like, why did you even bring that up?
Yeah.
Like,
what
was
like,
that?
I guess it's like Scarlet Witch now knows that she can do that later, so she's going to use it in, like, the final episode to be like,
you can't use your power.
Sort of, like, she'll put it in her own house. Agatha will come in, can't use her power. She'll be like, gotcha, because you told me that thing. But it's just like,
it was very forced.
Way too long. Like, But let's get into the trauma.
Let's get into the trauma.
That's what everyone's waiting for.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone loves a good bit of trauma. We go into... I didn't think we'd actually go... And once you know where the episode's heading, of course it was always going to be that. But I didn't think we were actually going to see the bombing. I thought it was like, here's the explanation for the TV show. We go back to Wanda as a child where, I don't know, timeline-wise, were there DVDs in 1996 or whatever year this was supposed to happen?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I didn't think so
either. I do not think so.
But her parents really forcefully tell you that they're watching all these sitcoms because they want to learn English. Like, they say it like 8 times.
Yeah. But also, I think the idea was that her dad is a traveling salesman and sells these things.
Yeah.
So he's got a briefcase of them. I know this sort of stuff because my grandparents have told stories about, like, their parents would go out with briefcases or with, like, these big bags of jams and stuff, would try and sell them, and, like, the dad would come back, being the salesperson, would be, like, lugging it back up looking really sad because he didn't sell any, and then would open it up and it's, like, full of all the money that he was able to sell because so he'd kind of fake it out and make a joke out of it. But anyway, unfortunately that didn't happen here, so he's lugging his suitcase back in. All of the DVDs are still there because he does say, I'll try and sell them tomorrow, kind of thing. But very forcefully saying, like, instead, we're going to watch them because we're going to learn English.
Yeah. Which, again, is a question I didn't need answered.
Yes, very much so.
Cool.
A lot of people in European countries also know English. Yeah. That's just a thing.
Yeah. It was very weird. Like, and like, I almost wish that they had this show planned for a long time so that in the background of, like, Civil War, she was watching Malcolm in the Middle. It would have been
It would have been so good. I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Because there's the shot where they go back to
it's basically Civil War.
To her bedroom and stuff. And I'm like, was she watching? No, she was watching the news.
Yeah, she was crying because she blew up a building.
yeah. But yeah, that would have been so cool to go back and see the little sprinklings of these.
That's okay. Because, we get to see young Wanda and young Pietro as well, with brown hair, so I assume at some point he just dyes it white. Like, he chose to do that, I guess.
Or maybe when he got his powers.
Yeah, or do they always have their powers? This episode,
who knows?
As much as it's like maybe enforcing that, it also maybe isn't, and it's like it's a weird little grey area. But yeah, they sit and watch the Dick Van Dyke Show. The parents are not the parents from the advert. When they walked in, I was like, oh, is it going to happen? Are they going to be them?
Yeah, that would have been cool. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, there was no advert.
No? Well, we're out of the
makes sense because it wasn't a sitcom, but yeah, I'm still very intrigued to see where they're going to come in, if ever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could only assume now at this point that was, again, Agatha all along making adverts that maybe Wanda could see because she's just further pushing the trauma angle at her. But then again, she's learning about these things in this episode, so she doesn't know about them yet.
Yeah, I want to know who they are.
Yeah.
Are they important? I want them to be important. I think that's my deal. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Just in their own house filming commercials.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, they're just like this. They're just in their bedroom filming a YouTube series.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah. So we get to see the Stark bomb arriving in the house. It's definitely not it, but I kind of took the kind of jump scare of the bomb hitting and then disappearing. I know it's kind of like them reacting to the impact. I weirdly took it as Pietro dashing them out of frame to save them.
Okay.
Like, that's what I kind of, because it's like, it's a very fast movement, and when they come to, it's not like they're underneath rubble or like they're trapped. They're in a safe spot. So yeah, like that's why I'm like, did Pietro always have his powers too? It's like, that's a moment he saved powers. It's not early, it's 11 o'clock. Yeah, I kind of took that. But yeah, so they escape the bomb. The parents, they don't show the parents' bodies. I thought they were going to be a bit more graphic with that, but they kind of skirted around that.
Yeah, we've already been pretty graphic in this episode. You don't have to shy away that much. But
we saw like 10 corpses in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, close up.
Yeah. But so she's under the thing and she reaches out for the bomb and then gets dragged away. Mm-hmm. Did she use a power? Did she just waste 2 days? Who do we know? Who do we know?
I don't know. Who do we know?
Fucking hell.
We know Rob.
No.
I don't know. I'm like, who do we know?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I guess that's the other part of the question because she gets pulled out, but it seems like she gets pulled out of there by Agatha.
Yeah.
Like Agatha seemingly could have found out, but she gets pulled out and goes, "Did you use your power?" It's like, well, if you waited another 5 seconds, you'd probably know.
Totally.
It's freaking weird. But
strange.
yeah, I think that was them kind of teasing like she was trying to use these powers that she's always had. Which is interesting because then we go to Strucker.
I would just say,
do you have more to say? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say the power that Hagatha specifically brings up is the probability hex, which is all Wanda had in the comics before she had reality altering things. Like her power was kind of like superpowered Domino from X-Men. Like she could just go and then someone's gun would jam, or she'd do that and someone would trip over. Like she could cause bad luck and inversely cause good luck. And then eventually in the comics they were like, let's just stretch that further that she can cause reality. It's like, why not? But yeah, I thought that was cool that they referenced that power, especially like
nice.
In terms of chronological, it's like when she was young, that's all she could do, and then when she was older, she develops those powers. So it's kind of like the time span of the comics as well, which is fun. But yeah,
cool.
Then we move on to
Strucker.
To Strucker, although it's not Strucker, I don't think.
We don't see Strucker, but his experiments and all of that, where they bring the twins in, the two. We never see other Pietro, which is fine because he doesn't want to be in there. But whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
I was hoping as well, but their experiments with the stone and stuff. It sounds like they've been experimenting on a bunch of different people who have all died when they interacted with the stone, which makes sense because we've seen that sort of thing already in like Guardians and stuff like that. True. And the Guardians nearly died themselves. But I would be interested to know whether the stone did the thing for all the other people that it did for her, or whether these people went up and like touched the staff and then died.
Yeah.
Or because this one, the stone just breaks out and just comes over to her.
It's the actual gem. It's not the stone in the scepter.
Yeah. Although they don't see any of that happening. So it's almost like entirely mental, because later is when I think Ultron grabs the thing and breaks it and gets the stone out of it.
Yeah.
So the stone isn't...
The scepter.
Yeah, the stone isn't out at that point anyway. So it's like it's almost entirely mental.
Which makes
within
sense.
her, and her being in the same room as her just being like, whoa, like there's this crazy power in it. As they say, it enhances a power that was almost snuffed out because she probably hadn't used it in 15 years or something.
Yeah, it's a freaking wild scene. Like, it's
pretty
funny
cool.
because I think in one of the trailers there's a shot of like yellow light on her face, and everyone was like, oh, that's her creating vision. She like brought the stone back or something. But it's and in that you even see her eyes, and her eyes are clean, and she doesn't have like jaundice. So the jaundice is CG, like how they did it to RDJ and Endgame. So that's all actually CG onto her, which is cool. Yeah. I think they did a great job of de-aging her for that and for Civil War. Like, she looks like she did in those films as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I will also say I felt like Agnes looked younger in that first shot.
She absolutely
looked like
did.
A bit thinner and younger. And I was like, wow, that's like a fair bit of effort. They kind of didn't need to do that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, the little bits of de-aging in this were great.
Marvel is like just gotten to a point where they can just do that and they don't need to make it a deal. Like, it's
they just select a filter. It's like it's a freaking Instagram filter or something. They just
it probably
de-aged.
is.
It's fine.
It probably is. But yeah, and in that scene where the Mind Stone breaks out of the scepter, we see her Nexus form. We see the Scarlet Witch hovering in the stone, which in comics basically across all the multiverse, the Scarlet Witch is an entity that Wanda always is. And so in that moment, she sees what she has to become eventually, which we're very clearly getting to. Yeah,
and it's like the outfit too.
It is.
She seems to very much have like the horns on the band and stuff.
I watched it back and it actually kind of grows, which I'm like, that's going to be great in the films. Because it's like Doctor Strange when he just like his cloak and all the clothes just appear. It's like when she's in the heat of battle now, she can just go like that and it'll be like, and then the whole costume will appear, which is sick.
Yeah,
and
almost like Tony's
everything's
nanotech
nano
and stuff as well. Like,
it's such a cool, and it also cleverly, because I think it would also kind of, it's not a question we needed answered, but it also answers the question of why she knew what the comic book Wanda would look like. Like, it's like, no, she had actually already seen that costume in a vision, and that's why she dressed like that in episode 5 or whatever. Which is good fun. And I'm just like, again, I don't know how she's going to get to that point. Like, the progression in next episode has got to be crazy.
It's got to be freaking wild.
Unless that is like Doctor Strange.
Yeah. You and I had a bit of a chat about having a potential watch party. Do we want to do that this Friday?
Yeah, we're both.
I'm free.
Yeah, totally. I'm free.
I'm pretty sure I'm free. So, yeah. Hell yes.
Let's do that. Because, that's going to be a wild one. So that scene kind of happens. I'm umming and ahhing?
Sure.
Umming on how I feel about that semi-retcon of her powers and stuff. Obviously, it awakens them, but I feel like it somewhat detracts from what I feel like they'd kind of set up for Infinity War, which is Vision and her powers are made of that stone. Like, she got her powers via that stone. Now it feels a bit less like that. It's like the stone was like steroids that just brought her powers out. Again. So it's like, does she really have that much of a connection to Vision? Like, is it now she's just so powerful she could break the stone? Like, for me, it was a retcon I didn't need because it kind of lessens the impact of the entire Wanda story. But also it's more comic accurate. Like, she's a mutant. She needs to have those powers from birth. So sure, they kind of slip that in.
This certainly, like, probably introduced mutants.
Yeah.
It's like there's probably a bunch of people that have powers that are dormant.
Yep.
And now they can just send some crazy wave over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mutants, baby.
Mutants. Well, I mean, they don't even need to do that because the powers are already there. Like, they don't need a wave. Like, the powers are dormant. All they need is a Charles Xavier that can see all mutants and be hey, come to my school. We'll teach you how to use your powers. Yep. They just has to get the kids, and that's what the Xavier Institute is all about. So I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but that's what's happening. And look, here's the other thing about mutants. They all do their very best to be undercover. So if you reveal to the world that Scarlet Witch is and has always been a mutant, suddenly mutants will feel a bit freer, and that's when they'll start emerging. So it's like, by establishing Scarlet Witch as a mutant, you're going to unearth some mutants that have always been in the MCU.
It's true.
So I'm keen to see where that goes. But where we do go is to Civil War. It's like post Age of Ultron, because they're in the facility, and it's like, it's pretty much Pietro just died. Like, she's still maybe. She's a very traumatized girl. It could be 4 years after. She's just still sad.
Yeah, who knows?
But we get a great kind of callback to Vision coming into the room in Civil War, where he's like, oh, I didn't mean to. I mean, I obviously meant to do that, but I didn't mean to. It's like, he's even worse than he has ever been.
It's so good. Like, they're clearly so fresh in their relationship.
Yeah.
Because we kind of jump into Civil War where they're already basically in a relationship.
Yeah.
Or at least, getting closer. So this is like a nice in-between.
Absolutely. Before that, apparently he wants to buy a plot of land for her. So we have to get to that point.
Yeah, just straight up. Okay. But I also love in this when, because they're watching like Malcolm in the Middle, he's trying to work out what humor is. And then there's a point where he laughs at it, and then they're in the middle of like a hugely deep, sad conversation. He starts laughing and went, "Sorry, that was funny." And she's like, no, it's okay. It was funny. And he's like, yes, it was funny.
Yes, it was.
It's like he kind of just breaks right back into his
robot.
Into his robot. Like, yes, it was. I knew that, so I laughed. Like, so weird.
Because I was waiting for the Marvelism to break that moment, and as much as that is a funny moment, I feel like it didn't break it, which was very nice. I feel like Marvel has maybe matured in its humor. At least it's like they know when a moment should sit now, and like I think the line is, "What is trauma if not love continuing or going on or something?" Persevering? Yeah.
I loved that line. I think I got goosebumps hearing that line. I was like, geez, that's good.
It's like he's got a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts, and now he's got what is love if not or what is trauma if not. It's like the man, I mean, he is a literal walking dictionary, but he's bringing some good lines, and
it's great.
we'll get to it, but I hope we have gotten in for Paul to keep on going into this universe. Yeah, that seems lovely. Another this episode really does almost feel like if we are going towards the Scarlet Witch, which is a very different character, obviously she'll still carry over a lot of this. This almost feels like a farewell for this version of Wanda, which is held back by trauma and is kind of a lot more frail as a character. So this is almost like going through these different moments, two of which we have seen her in, and being like, yeah, remember when she was like this? Like, here's the final moment you'll ever see this version of this character, because after next week, she's matured. She's moved on. And just going to be
and she's probably... I was about to say that. Like, she's going to be insane. My goodness. Like, we already know she is.
Yeah.
She almost, like, took down Thanos by herself. But freaking hell, now that all of this is happening, it's going to be crazy.
And one man that really knows she's already that powerful is Hayward, or as I called him to Sam last night, hey, dickwad. So next little sequence is Wanda, assumedly a day or two after Tony's funeral, heading over to Sword, and trying to check on Vision's body. I find it interesting she's trying to be good and just go through the door. I'm like, Wanda, honey, you could just go. Yeah. Just do it.
But I think, I feel like this is them showing that everything that Hayward...
It's the Scooby-Doo. I did it. I nailed it.
Everything that Hayward was saying and telling everybody was false, because he was showing videos of her throwing the doors open, breaking the glass, all that sort of stuff. And it made her look... Totally bad and hostile. But she was there like, please let me in. This isn't fair. I want to see this. And then they're like, sure, you can go in there. And then she goes in. She lets herself in because she's now been allowed to.
Totally.
And then we see her, like, she's clearly in grief. She breaks the glass. She goes down.
Yeah. After Hayward pushes her to, though. It's like, that guy is just egging her on the whole time.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of her, totally. She's like touching his head, trying to not quite bring him back, but
feel him,
feel the feelings that she...
The line from Infinity War, before. I just feel you. Now she says, I can't feel you.
Yeah. So didn't think of that parallel. Very good.
Loved it.
And then she leaves again without hostility, without Vision. So... Yeah,
it's a great sequence. Like,
I'm excited
to record Back Pocket, because in Back Pocket I was like, I wonder if what Hayward is showing is like in Scooby-Doo 1 when Fred says Coolsville sucks, and then that's the only part that the news uses and frames him saying Coolsville sucks. And I got it. I fucking nailed it.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
This guy is a dick. Again, we keep teasing it. We're going to talk about it. I feel like half an hour will be spent on that last scene. But I actually initially thought that maybe Hayward planted the letter. After fact, I'm like, no, it is just a lovely thing that... Because the letter was already open. She'd already kind of read it. And Vision has left her a letter saying that he's bought her a plot of land in Westview where they're going to build a house and grow old together, which I don't think he can actually do.
Pretty much.
It's definitely a comic sentiment where they're like, well, we're never going to progress time, so you're never going to see him grow old, so we could just say they grow old.
And I guess it lends to them going through decades and decades and decades worth of television together, because it's like they've grown old, they've grown up through all of this television,
for sure.
which was very nice. But it blew my ideas out of the water where Westview actually does exist. So what the hell is Eastview cops talking about in episode 1 where they're like, this never existed? Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
It was a small town. There were actual people there.
They were always mind tricked. They just couldn't see it. Agatha. It was Agatha all along. She did those things. I wonder if they have purple eyes. I wonder if they have like sunglasses on. You can't see their eyes.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, they're outside.
But far out. Yeah. I love the going into Westview,
going through the Warner Brothers lot, seeing where Emma Stone ran along to the coffee shop to Ryan Gosling.
But it was just nice, like seeing the residents. Like this is where the residents are from, because I don't know, from them kind of going like, this is that person. Surely they have like a record of everyone in Westview, and they're like, oh, she's just got all of the Westview residents, and they're just playing parts in
Totally.
Westview.
Yeah.
It seems weird that they didn't put that connection together, but they spent seemingly like hours or days searching for all of the cast.
Which is true.
But
yeah.
they're all from they're all from the town.
The postcode and just like get a list.
Yeah, they're all there. Like maybe there's some inconsistencies here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, you got to hold that plot. I mean, you don't. You could have sped up the plot, but
yeah. But it was nice, kind of seeing all the people like.
Yeah.
The delivery man is still the delivery man.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. You see Herb. You see.
I was so happy because there was lots of people saying that he could have been Agatha's son, like the nightmare or whatever, because he had a rabbit on his hat, which in the Scratchman, the rabbit and all that, and I'm like, I'm glad that
Scratchy or whatever.
Yeah, we're moving away from that. It's not as deep as we think.
yeah, totally. Yeah. I heard people like even talking about some of the labels that were on some of his packages in one episode that said something specific about something. They're like, oh, the delivery man must be someone from here. It's like, no, he's a delivery guy from Westview. Like, just relax, everybody.
Yeah. The one character we didn't actually see, which I'm like holding on to as if they want to do one more big reveal, is Dottie, which is obviously the character that Agatha says she's the key to all this. It could easily be a bit of a like throwaway, move away. You're looking at now you're looking at Dottie. You're not looking at Agatha. You don't have to. But the interesting element of Dottie, which we don't even see until last episode, is Wanda has red flowers. She has red powers. Agatha has purple flowers. She has purple powers. Dottie has yellow powers. And in the comics, there is another witch that has yellow powers that is, I think, a relative of Agatha, which they could spin into being my mum's still alive. Possibly. But because she's the only character I don't remember if she was on the board. I feel like she might have been on the board. But she's the only one that we don't get an establishing shot of as we drive through. Like, we get Norm, we get not Guy from Friends, we get Herb, we get Kitty from that 70s show, but we don't get Dottie, so I'm wondering if there's still a little bit more there.
Yeah, we also didn't get the guy that works with Vision.
Did we didn't get Norm? I thought we did, but maybe we didn't get Norm.
Yeah, I don't think we got Norm, because we got Herb, and we got Sad Guy.
David Schwimmer,
David Schwimmer. I don't remember seeing
We might not have got Norm. Maybe, well then, if there's more than one character missing, then it's nothing.
Potentially, him. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's it. They seem to really quite heavily lean in on her as being bad. So, witch.
Yeah, speaking of witches. I saw someone actually bring up that maybe the circle of people, if that is her mother, the circle of people may be her witches.
Oh, sick.
Which I'm like, that'd be a cool twist. That's the thing I've been saying all along, which is everything is something else, and we won't realize until the end of the series. So that would be pretty cool. If
I like that.
Flips on the head.
Cool.
But then, Wanda goes to the plot of land. It is exactly the plot of land, possibly a little bit smaller, but also she shapes reality, so the house can be as big as it needs to be. Yeah. And she breaks down, and she uses the powers from House of M. She makes cubes. She makes little squares.
Does. Yes. I did notice that too. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cubey.
I was freaking at that. That was sick.
It was so good. Very, very cool. Yeah. That was
I don't think it's
good. I'm so glad we watched we read the comics like last week.
It's not out yet at this time of recording, but Ben in our comic cast for House of M, which should be up probably next week, I guess, mentioned that he didn't like how Wanda's powers are portrayed in the MCU, which is just the red floaty hands. And then, they go and do it. They do what her powers do in the comics, which is, lots of little cubies. Interesting that when stuff was glitching out, it was just glitching out. It wasn't doing cubies. I guess just stylistically, that's what they wanted to do. But it was cool to see that, and it was cool to see that it is all Wanda. It actually has always been all Wanda.
Yeah. And we see where Vision came from.
Yeah, her.
She just built him.
She just makes
him. It's not dead Vision.
No.
It's not his body. She didn't steal his body.
No.
She just created him because she can create matter now for some reason.
So in a roundabout way, we're all correct with our theories unless you thought it was the dead body. Because some people were like, it's her subconscious. Kind of is. Some people were like, she just made him. Kind of is. Like, it's even if you wanted to go, oh, she made a new stone. She kind of did, because she made, like, yellow power to make him. So
yeah.
She kind of did. That was interesting. I also find it funny that in the very first trailer is that shot of him in black and white and her going like, ooh, and he's like, hello, Wanda. And then, like, the shot of her creating reality is in the first trailer of this show.
Right.
Which is pretty wild.
Great.
And we never saw it coming. And I'm happy with this. I'm happy it is simple. I'm happy there's nothing more to it. There's very little else to explain about it. Like, Agatha did the little bits and pieces she did in her little song. So I think this is it. I don't think we're going any further. I think that, what we see at the end of this episode is all there are. Because, I mean, this is it, right? This is it until the credits. So we can basically talk about that scene now.
Except for she gets given a name.
Oh, shit, yeah, that's right.
So they go outside and they're like, we can't make reality. We can't make stuff. You're supposed to be a legend, but you're actually the Scarlet Witch. Oh my gosh, I never knew. That's not what everyone's been calling her for the last 5 years or more.
Amazing. I'm glad they got there, and I'm glad Hayward wasn't the one to say it, because that would have been unfortunate. And Agatha also had, like, full witchy makeup on as well, which is interesting. Witches. Witches.
And
the kids in like headlocks with magic.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the kids basically dying. But interesting that that Wanda is basically like, she is a witch legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that they never thought was meant to be real.
Yeah.
But here she is. She's super powerful.
Yeah. And Agatha only came to the town because she was like, this is pretty wild. What's this about? And then, she stumbled upon a witch legend. So well done, Agatha, in the end, really.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
That's pretty decent.
I will say, I didn't watch this episode until maybe 10:30ish last night. But my mum messaged me at, 9 and was like, Wanda is the Scarlet Witch? And I was like, I just sent back, I'm like, Mum, I haven't watched it, didn't say anything else. I'm like, I already know that. So it's fine. She didn't spoil anything. But then after that, I was basically like, look, I haven't watched it, no spoilers, don't message me anything else about the episode. So luckily she said that, because it's like, it's the most obvious unspoilery thing ever.
So basically, you haven't experienced the final 2 minutes of any of these episodes.
Pretty much.
Someone involving whether you or someone else has spoiled the end.
Pretty much. But so it kind of spoiled, I guess, that she finally got named. That was the spoiler. Like, they finally actually gave her the name, which was a little bit unfortunate, but totally. It's fine. I knew who she was. It didn't spoil who she was.
And also, it's almost like a double whammy from last week as well. It's like, when she says it, it's like, for the general audience, okay.
Agatha
Harkness. Who the hell is that?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure my mum messaged me about that as well and was like, who? And the thing pretty much.
I love about that reveal of Agatha Harkness is people go, who? And then you go, not really anything in the comics. Like, it's like, it's not like, oh, she's Thanos. It's like, no, it's like, she, like, helps sometimes.
Yeah, you and I being comic nerds are kind of like, we don't really know either.
Yeah.
Like, we know a little bit, but, it's fine. But it then spurred my family to have a couple of jokes about the time my mum saw Force Awakens, where Han Solo dies, and we left the movie theater gold class. So it's just a bunch of people crowding around this, ordering food and stuff like that. And Mum's just like, I can't believe Han Solo died, just in front of all these people waiting to go into the movie.
Mum!
Wild. So Mum just sent me that straight after.
Good. Yeah.
She's like, and Han Solo died too. I'm like, yep. All right, great. Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Mum. Cool that she's got a name now, I guess. That's, I wonder how much she'll get referred to it in the future. Like, Iron Man, Captain America are kind of the only ones that go by their aliases in this universe. Like, no one really calls... I mean, Thor is his normal name. Hawkeye is barely ever called Hawkeye. It's Clint.
Yeah, it's
Black
not
Widow
too often.
is usually Natasha. So, but I guess, it's a lot cooler than Black Widow or Hawkeye. It's the Scarlet Witch.
The Scarlet Witch. Instead of just Wanda, like
Wanda,
her name.
yeah.
Like
Wanda.
I've barely called her Wanda. I don't think anyone's called her Wanda.
Not at all.
Until WandaVision, because they hammer so hard that her name is Wanda.
It's in the name of the show.
Like, now I know her name. I would probably almost forget her name.
Wilma?
Up until now. Who knows?
I guess the other element just on the kids being in headlocks, what's going to happen with the kids? If she made the kids in the same way she's made Vision, can they leave the Hex? If Vision... Because we're about to get to it, Vision has an out. I don't think the kids have an out. So we might as well get to it.
Although we know that she... Like... I'm wondering, can she only make matter in this location?
Mm-hmm.
Did she make her kids?
Mm.
And they can leave? Like, are they real? Because if she can make matter, can she actually make matter outside this big reality that she's built?
My understanding, and like I didn't write this damn show, but my understanding is she can modify matter and that matter can leave. But if she created the matter, I don't think that could leave, because you look at Vision, he couldn't leave the Hex. And he was created from scratch. So I mean, unless like because it's from her body.
Did she modify her eggs?
Yeah, I guess.
Could do that.
God, that's
in theory they're in there, right?
Yeah,
so
that's I guess so. Can she make sperm? Like that is certainly an out, isn't it? That's and one they never have to talk about. But that's a good point.
Yeah. So it'll be I guess that will hopefully be answered in the future. Or maybe Mephisto is involved and I don't know. I don't know.
That's what happened in the ad breaks. But I also, like, as a funny Marvel thing, in my mind, I think it would be quite funny if, while they're in the headlocks, they just age up and that, like, shatters the thing because they just get bigger. And they're like, well, we're out. Screw you.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And that's why they age up for the next episode. Also important to mention, all this happened... assumedly while Monica and Pietro just talked on the outside of the basement. Like,
where are they?
Were they just chatting for an hour and this didn't go in?
They do it. Yeah.
Weird.
I guess we'll probably, hopefully find out next episode.
Hopefully. I mean, it could have been cool maybe if in that credit scene you heard dialogue from the end of the episode so that it kind of set up that she arrived at the end, so that next week it's like, oh, she didn't miss anything. It was like really close to the end of this. Like, even if as she was walking on the street it was happening and it's just a bit distant. Something like that. That could have been quite fun.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming that we would either get something right at the end of this episode, like a shot to where Monica and Pietro are, or that the post-credits would be a continuation of last week's post-credits. That's what I was expecting this post-credits to be.
Which it was not, because...
But it was
not! We got back to Hayward and just another generic person. There's a lot of generic people in S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah.
Like, remember Maria Hill? And we go inside to his little lab, and it turns out that the Cataract Project was not a long shot. It wasn't something that is in the distance. It's now... And through the power of the now powered Stark drone, we've got power for White Vision.
White Vision. He's freaking
here,
back.
Which means... this is so funny. Because, I don't know if you remember the whole, like, Paul Bettany talking about a cameo that he couldn't wait to work with an actor that he's always wanted to work with. It's himself. It's himself.
No.
Yeah, because I screenshotted. I found the wording.
That makes
Wait for the wording. It's one of those beautiful, beautiful things. It says, "It's an actor I've longed to work with all my life, and we have an amazing scene together, and the chemistry between us is extraordinary, and there were fireworks on set." He's talking about himself. Isn't that wonderful?
So good.
Like,
oh my goodness.
I love it so much.
That's insane.
So, we can only assume there'll be a Vision and Vision scene. My thinking, obviously, White Vision in the comics, he's an emotionless man. He's basically the computer, so there's no reasoning with him, which also kind of means that, you could sway him to be like, this is what you need to do, and that's what he will do, I assume. I don't know what
So he will be Sword's weapon now.
Basically, yeah. That's what they've been talking about launching and what their weapon has been this whole time. And my thinking is, as a fun little thing, you go, that's the body, Wanda has made the soul just needs to enter the body, and we're kind of good. And
nice.
As a like fun play on to wrap up the whole WandaVision thing, black and white vision, she turns to color. It's television.
Nice.
I think that would be a nice kind of cap on the show, and also a way to get him out of the hex.
Yeah. That's such a good, like...
Isn't it nice?
Yeah. Full circle. I love it. So, very nice. Good thinking, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, there's not much else to do. What do you think is going to happen next week? Like, what is the setup?
I don't know, man. Like, if anything, they've done a really good job in setting up this last episode and just being anything.
All like, their pieces are on the board, but it's like the board is like 60 meters long. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, like overall, Agatha seems bad, but at the same time, she doesn't. Mm-hmm. She's just been trying to push Wanda to find out how she did it because she wants to know how to do that too, how to be more powerful. She wants to learn. But at the same time, she's choking children. So it's like...
It's a bit hard, isn't it? And kill the dog.
Is she bad or not? And killed the dog. Which was the dog... the dog was probably real. The dog was probably
definitely was a real
within,
dog. Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. But like... Yeah, because she's not evil in the comics. So
she's not, and kind of the wording throughout this, it really feels like she's trying to teach Wanda, which is what she is. She's a tutor to Wanda in the comics. So it just feels like maybe they're just playing on the sinister angle a lot harder. Like she is going to be just sinister, but she's not bad. Like she's got a bad way of doing things.
Yeah, like a harsh but fair kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. I did see a fun thing that someone's like, they want her to stick around so that she could possibly be the nanny to the Richards children.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because Wanda's kids grow up too much now, so there's no point in having her. But like, she stays in the Fantastic Four universe, which could be good fun. But yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm intrigued to see what it is, because I almost think that within the next 10 minutes of the next episode, it's like she simmers, and it's like, I'm not the bad guy here. And like... She's with them to combat whatever else is there. But I'm like, a white vision and some army dudes doesn't feel that threatening. So what else is here?
Yeah. Surely there's something else. Like, and we still need to know, like, because we have fake Pietro.
Yes. Yeah.
Surely that's not it. Like,
there is.
Where did he come from?
Because she has a quick line about, like, mind controlling him, but never really gives... where, and like it just definitely doesn't feel like, there we go, that's thrown away, because it's the same thing. It's like it's in the end credit scene of last week, like he's still here,
and he has powers. Like, did she
totally
if Agatha didn't, like, can Agatha give him that power?
Because she's like, you create reality, and she's quite shocked by that. So I feel like, because that was my thing last week of like why he has to be Fox. It's like, sure, she could mind trick him, sure she could tell him this is what your past is, but I don't think, unless Wanda was the one that brought him in, I don't think that he would be able to have powers, unless it is because it's Wanda's show. She was able to put that final layer.
Yeah, she's like, oh, this is my brother. He runs fast.
Yeah,
run fast.
That's the thing. But I still think the vagueness of how he's like, I got shot in the street, I don't know what that was about. I feel like that is very important into Agatha. That's all Agatha gave the Fox Pietro, and so that's why he's like, I don't know what's a big deal about that.
Yeah, and if there was any sort of control from Wanda, like Pietro did and said some things that Wanda did not like.
Totally.
So if it wasn't, like, I feel like she has no control over him.
Yeah, totally.
Because otherwise she potentially could have stopped him from saying, your husband died twice or whatever. Like
he can't die 3 times or whatever. But I guess the final thing is, obviously, it's Evan Peters. You don't do that for a quick gag.
Yes.
That just still feels so intentional. And the other very intentional thing is the fact that he comes in the 70s episode, the fact that he wears basically his jacket from those movies, and the fact that where he is from in the Fox universe is the 70s. Like, he belongs in that era. The fact that Agatha was able to get someone, it would make that would be able to pass through the hex that Wanda wouldn't talk about. It's makes so much canonical sense to be like, oh yeah, you get a 70s Pietro, and it would be like there's so many little elements at play that I'm hoping it isn't just a gag. It can't be just gag.
Surely not. Yeah. I really, because you and I, throughout all of his episodes, we've loved him.
Yeah,
like, he's one of the best characters in this show. He's so much fun. He's great. He's great in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
He's one of the best parts of those films.
For sure.
So like,
just one more.
Please, Marvel, keep him around.
Please. There's so much to wrap up next week. There's also just like Will's favorite Easter egg is where it's like the start of the episode basically, and Agatha says something about her basement, and the word she uses is my bewitched basement, and I love it so much because her house is the bewitched house, so it is the bewitched basement. Like, it is such a wonderful meta thing. Like, nice. I when she said it, I lost my shit. We also, the way I watched it last night was with the parents. Mum and I had already seen last week's, but Dad hadn't, so we actually watched the two back to back.
Nice.
And in the post-credits is where you see a lot of Agatha's house, and Dad was like, oh cool, it's a bewitched house. I'm like, yeah, it totally is. So then going straight in and her saying that, it's like, oh, sick. Like,
nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's definitely a double whammy of like, it is a bewitched basement, but it is the bewitched basement.
Find it funny that twice in this episode you've said wonderful.
It's so hard.
It sounded like wonderful.
I've been calling
I like it.
I've been calling Gal Gadot Wonder Woman so much. Like it's just hard to say the word wonder.
Yeah. Wonder Woman.
Wanda.
Gotta get real Australian on it.
Absolutely.
Wanda.
We did it. We almost did an hour-long episode for an episode of WandaVision.
It is.
It's
whoops.
Yeah, but it was a big one. There's a lot of ramifications for the MCU going forward. I'm slowly starting to think maybe Doctor Strange won't turn up, and this will just wrap up, and maybe he'll be the end credit scene. It'll be a very short cameo from him.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need him in here somewhere.
Yeah, or like beginning of Doctor Strange 2 will be Wanda turning up.
Yeah, totally.
Like it'll just be that, but he won't. I don't know if he'll be in it. Otherwise, it would probably just be a post-credits or something. Yeah.
It definitely... I thought it might ramp up a lot more than it has. And if it had, maybe he'd turn up. But I don't think this is on his radar at the moment.
Definitely not, yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Next week could be bonkers. It's weird because it feels like there's not much else to explain. But it's also like, I don't know what next week is for, if not to explain something.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's been a great show so far. There's so many, like, some of the things we've guessed, some of the things were super obvious, some weren't.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been freaking great. It's really, really keen for next week. Hopefully, yeah.
No, I'm just going to throw one more thing. Do you think Ultron is involved in this?
Ooh. Nah.
Yeah. Cool.
I feel like that might be too convoluted.
Yeah, so because a lot of people, I know we're wrapping this up, but a lot of people brought up, Ultron's ultimate goal was to create a vision for himself and all that. And that's kind of what has happened. And a lot of people have been like, Hayward's a little bit robotic in a lot of his movements, but I'm like, he's just a bad actor. I don't think there's there's not much else. And it would
he's
be
basically just an army guy. Like, he's those army guys like that are just pretty straight. They've got to be pretty straight-laced people.
He's the underling to create Paul Bettany again, basically. There's nothing else to him. Like, and also, if he has created this vision, you're just retreading Age of Ultron. It's not interesting. So I thought I'd put it across both of us so that next week, if he does show up, we can both be wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which would be fun. That'd be a first.
Yeah. I would love him back. Who's the James Spader?
Yeah,
freaking great. Ultron was just great.
It was good fun. It is the better Avengers movie.
Yeah, if anything though, if it is like if Hayward, excuse me, if Hayward is Ultron, I don't want Hayward to be Ultron. Yeah, I want James Spader to be Ultron.
Well, it's like I said, he just rips off a flesh suit and he's a robot underneath.
Yeah, and he's just got James Spader's voice.
Yeah.
Please, if anything, I want that.
Yeah. But I don't think he's in this. I think we're going pretty simple now. I think, But I say that. I still think there's something else. Like, there has to be another villain somewhere, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But,
for sure. Like, Hayward is clearly a villain.
Vision is now a vision.
Whether there will be like a twist to his villainy, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm intrigued. I think, max maybe an hour, maybe a 50-minute ep next week. But we'll see, because, that's it. That's our thoughts on WandaVision episode 8.
There it is.
We're so close to the end now.
So close.
We're in the end game now. But if you want to be in our end game, you can jump over to patreon.com/each to their own. It's just a big old group of amazing Avengers. There was some time where everyone was deemed an Avenger if they wanted to get into the end game chat. So I guess that's somewhat true. If you want to do that, you can drop $3 Australian into the Patreon and get into our super secret Discord. I know it's great.
Yeah, it's so nice. All Aussie dollars now.
Yeah.
And that's at patreon.com/each to their own. I don't know if you had mentioned that already.
It's always good to do it again.
Very good.
But if you're listening to this on a Spotify or a Pocket Cast or an Apple Music or Google Pods or whatever they call it, you can jump on over to youtube.com/each to their own. We post videos there eventually, and the video version of all these podcasts. But if you're here right now, you can jump on over to all those places. If you go to Apple Music, give us a rating, because that helps to boost us in the views and stuff.
That would be great. That would be great. And and podcasts are generally more convenient. You can just listen to them around town, less data, all the things. That's it. Are we done?
I think we're done.
I think that's it.
Until next week, I've been Will.
I've been Josh.
Laters, everyone.
Bye.